today, and we're going to go ahead and see um, what cam sensor I'm using, and we're going to clean up a little bit of the valve seats today with a wire brush, brass wire brush, and let's see what's up. In this combination of cylinder head and engine, I am going with a 6-bolt block and a 2G head. So all the accessories and all that is going to be second generation Eclipse, including the cylinder head, the intake, the exhaust. But to make this combo work, there is a adapter harness you can buy. I'll put a link in the description for what I used. It was the Magnus Motorsports technique. There's also other techniques you can do to make this work, but the most ideal situation would probably be just using the this is I think it's a green top, but I can't tell, it's probably really faded, but yeah, this came from a 91 Galant VO4 cam angle sensor. This doesn't have a harness, so but I do have the harness that you can use for the adapter, especially because my car is a 98, comes with a black box, but this should just translate the crank angle sensor, because the 6-bolt don't have a crank angle sensor, so you got to use something that correlates the two. So I don't know how to recondition this really. I kind of just got it because I was in the market for one, and I decided to just pick this one up, and hopefully it works. It came from a running vehicle, so as you can see, I still got to clean up the contacts here. It's a little bit oily and all that. Now this mounts the same way as a 7-bolt one, minus the little screw. I believe there was a screw hole here. Let me get the other one. So this is how the 7-bolt ones usually look like. It's usually with this cap here. So there's a cap here. You take it off, and there's a nut, and that bolt is connecting it to the camshaft. As you can see, it's kind of similar in a way to the 6-bolt style. Has those little flange areas here. Also, there's a way for, I believe, top dead center. There's a little dimple on here. It's very hard to tell, but there it is. It's right there. And then it's kind of, you can tell because one side of this little, I guess you can call it a dowel, is kind of flat, and then this side is kind of a taper, and that also has that locating pin. So you want to make sure that's facing the right way. Just put your cams to top dead center, and then this connector should be facing that way towards the back of the car. Yeah, it's all depending on your application. So for this application, I believe this is going to work. So we're just going to need an adapter harness here, and we're going to have to splice some wires, I believe, to the actual, or relocate some wires for the harness. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. I'm going to clean it up. Maybe I'm going to do the chrome top here. I'm not sure how I'm going to really do that, because this is all one unit here. So yeah, that's our plan for the cam angle sensor for the build here. So we're going to use one of these. So if you guys saw the last segment where we have the cylinder head here, we got it kind of clean to a point where we can handle with it. Again, these are stock cams, stock valve retainers, keepers, all of them stock. So I'm gonna revise. I had a local guy tell me that, hey, go pick up the revised top line lifters. They're really cheap for the money and really good, so I'm just gonna use it for now. There was nothing wrong with the original lifters. I just decided, hey, let's at least put those to good use, and hopefully it comes out right. So if you guys know about anything about the regulator here too, if I need to get some upgrades on that, let me know. Wow, it came out really nice actually. It was really nice and smooth. Nothing wrong with the seats, and they look pretty good. So as you can see, there's that area where we saw earlier with the rust spots. Now almost completely gone. Alright, I don't know. Why is it so fucking bright? Anyways, we got it done. So all the valve seats and the part of the throat, I couldn't get all the way, all the way clean, but I just wanted the seats to be rust free and then out of debris. Hey, that kind of rhymed. Um, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna clean it up. Make sure you use, brake cleaner and lint-free towel, whatever you gotta do. Just clean this guys up because you don't want this extra carbon deposits, dirt, whatever it is, to get on the seats, and it just messes it up. Also on the inside of the valve guides, so don't go ahead and put your valves in right away. You want to make sure you're clean. Hit it with the air dryer or hit it with the compressed air, and that should be good for this one. I still need to do the drill the head stud holes for the cylinder head to fit on the 6-bolt block. I've seen early, like there's some guys that have early model 2Gs with the 6-bolt, late 6-bolt or 6-bolt head on a 2G. So it may or may not work for mine, but I already tested it out and I can't fit the 12 mil in here. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're also gonna do the oil porting, so we're gonna do that again on another day. So yeah, we're just gonna focus on the valves, get these good to go, and then we can seat in the valve. So yeah. Hey guys, welcome back. This is the oil port mod and the drilling the head studs to 12mm section. Now I went ahead and bought a Amazon drill bit. I know there's probably a lot more different ways to do this, obviously, but here's the drill bit. I'm using like a 12mm one, standard, millimeter. So this is gonna fit right there where the head studs go. Hopefully that we don't really cause any more damage. So I'm gonna go ahead and clamp down the whole head to the desk here. And here's the original. This is the ARP head studs. So these are the 12mm head studs for the 6-bolt. So we're gonna make sure we drill it in nice. There's also a taper on this side where the dowel sits. I'm not sure if that's a part of it or... I'm trying to look at it at the bottom so I'm not cutting weird. Also, I'm not trying to put a lot of speed on it. Alright, let's try that. Yeah. Very strange feeling, but let's see if it goes in. Oops. There you go, almost. Probably just gonna pass through it a couple times, but it's almost working. A little bit more. I just want to make sure it glides through. Opposing to this guy, where doesn't see. Drop it in there, and then this guy. Yeah, that's awesome. It's working. It's just very sus, dog. So hopefully I can capture the rest within this next segment. And the whole point of this is making it fall through, so there you go. Like I can literally just go in and out. That's good. These aren't very large too. These aren't like very large head studs. They go in and out pretty much on there. Cool. Alright, so I'm gonna do the other 9. It might take a while, so I'll just record what I can record. So I'm checking these out, and again, like I said, there's gonna be some that they just fit. I don't have to worry about it. So this guy, I just did this guy, so that guy should just drop right in like that. This guy, there you go. And there's this one. I didn't touch it yet, and drops right in. So I don't really want to mess with it if it already works. So we're just gonna move on to the next cylinder head stud hole. We got some time to cut, so bear with me. But that's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. Drop down like that, pretty much. So that way we're not struggling to put it on or take it off. Okay, so now all the bolt holes are now stretched to 12 millimeters, or just about. We do have some, leniency, but all of them go in pretty nicely. So much more fluid and ready to go for the swap. So here is the oil port. Here is the condition we have it at now. So what we're going to do, we're going to take off a little bit of that teardrop channel here, smooth it out, and we're going to drop this area here, so that way we have more oil flowing through here, because there is an oil port inside the actual hole, and so doing this is we'll have enough sufficient oil going to the head. So yeah, that's a must need for doing these. So I might as well, you already do it, you're already here, so might as well do that. And also check this stud. This stud actually goes through the oil jacket, so there are a lot of leaks happen here, so make sure you do a JB weld on that if you haven't already. So yeah, let's get on to that. Flowing nicely. So yeah, that's one thing done for the build. There you go, you can see it. So yeah, there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video on the DIY freaking head stud drilling. I was really skeptical about doing this, but it came out exactly how I expected to. Just literally drill out the holes 1 millimeter bigger. So um, hopefully that was it for the head. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit more. You can see a little bit more of the darker areas here from the gasket, but I'm gonna clean it up a little bit more, and after that we throw it in the parts washer and then reassemble the head, and then we're gonna go ahead and lap the valves and install the keepers and all that. So yeah, this was quite the experience, especially doing the oiling here. Hey guys, welcome back to the valve section of the 4G63 cylinder head build. We're going to go ahead and lap some valves today and make sure we get a good seal around the valve face and valve seat. So spec is around like 45-46 degrees, and hopefully we can achieve that by just using the stock valves here. We're not going to be cutting any of the faces or the seats. Ideally, that's probably the most professional way you could do it, just like how I did for the 420A head. But in this case, we're just trying to put it all together with as little components as possible, but retaining the as much standard dimensions and all that. So we're going to be keeping all these. Now, there's a couple things you need. Of course, you're going to need some oil. So oil can, or you can use any type of lubricant, because you want to, when you are doing the valve cutting, you want to make sure you lube up the guides, so that way you don't cause any more damage. But next you're going to need the valve lapping tool. So this is used to create a concentric cut, as well as just, this is the only tool that I'd say would work if you're doing this method. So make sure you get a good quality one with some good material. So you're going to need a valve lapping tool. So this is going to make sure that you can cut concentrically. So very good tool. Next you're going to need the compound needed to use for that tool. So I just picked up some valve grinding compound. You can get this at like AutoZone, Napa, or any other store like that. So the trick is when you put this on, you're looking for a certain pitch change, whether it's like from a grinding sound to a more like, it's going to be sounding more like grittier. This is because when it first hits the valve seat, it's going to create that first initial cut. So I think the grit size for this particular is going to be like either 200 grit. Yeah, you can actually thin this with water, and then you can get a different grit result as well. So I think it says 220, maybe 120, and that's perfect for this application. So we're going to use that. We're going to put on the face of the valve, and we're going to cut. So as you're doing it, you want to make sure you can hear that pitch change. So turn off any other machines, any drilling machines, any music, because this is the moment where you want to actually hear how it's going to sound, and verifying you have a good valve to seat contact. So let's go get the seats, or let's go ahead and get the valves, and we'll go ahead and show you guys the first demonstration on how to lap valves. So here's one of them. I didn't really kind of go too crazy like how I did for the other one. Just, I feel like removing a bunch of that carbon would just be enough to suffice. And since this is going to be just running at stock engine power, we're just going to keep as much as this valve face as possible. So as you can see there, that's our result. Ideally you want to cut a new 45 or 46 degree face. That would be the better way of doing it, because you get a fresh new start instead of right here. But we're gonna go ahead and put this in. You want to put oil on this end of the valve, the stem part. That way, when you're doing the cutting, it doesn't really score up the inside of the valve guide. So go ahead, make sure your surface is already cleaned and prepped as well. No debris, random debris. So go ahead and grab your oil, and I'm just gonna put this on a separate box. insert the valve into the valve guide. Let that float right in there. Move. So also you can also check your valve. There's also a valve side clearance. You just protrude the valve a little bit past the head, and you kind of give it a good old wiggle, left and right, up and down, to make sure you have. You want to make sure there's little to no slop, because this is make sure that the valve guide is also straight and true. I don't feel any really resistance here, so a majority of our intake of valves here are actually leaking. Not a majority, maybe like 2 or 3, but all the exhaust valves were actually in good condition, which is surprising. So now this is where you want to apply that compound. So we're going to grab our compound now. Like that. A lot, obviously. After that, we're gonna insert. Try not to touch the material, because this valve grinding compound can actually ruin your valve guide as well. So you want to make sure you kind of be careful with handling this. It just plop right on. There you go. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me get a bigger angle here. All right, I got you guys. So let's get this valve all ready to go. Like I said, we got the grinding compound there with the lubed valve stem. So now it's time to use the tool. So just want to make sure you clean off the surface here. It's gonna be kind of slick, because the way I polish these, the grinding the polish kind of made it more slick. So, and then we're just gonna place the valve right on there. As you can see, sticking on there now, as you can see. Okay. So now it's our turn to us to lap these. So the way you want to do it, just turn to like this, and just begin to cut it. So it kind of slips off a lot. So I can hear it, the way it sounds. It goes from a more grittier sound to a more finer sound, but the moment you realize that you're there already is when it sounds smooth all the way. Alright guys, so now we got it going, and here is the face of the valve now. It's not really a huge difference you can see, but you can actually see a nice concentric line on the face of the valve there, on the outer edge right there. And then let's take a look on the valve seat. Right there. Now you can see the white cut line, as if that the valves was grinding against, and that where that line is where it's going to seat at. So we created a nice valves cut there. And so after you finished cutting the valve, this valve now is married to this seat, and there is no mix matching now. So you want to make sure you keep these in order, even if you plan to clean it and all that, but you want to make sure that's good to go. So that's good to go. We're going to do the rest of the valves, and I'll see you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Must be Jesus speaking through me. One night see where it came. It's music taking a toll. I surrender jury. Wanna see your duties. If I'm yours truly, inside the ring. Oh Lord, I swore to Kofi. I swore that we'd be closer. Rick and Tina concerns.
You guys see that little distinct line in between it should be fairly uniform if the valve is concentric as well, and it looks pretty good to me. It's in the middle of the face as well, so this tells us, hey, this has not been cut or not been 3-angled cut or whatever. So this is a really good cut too. So we're just gonna clean up the. Now you can do this process over and over again, so you're kind of satisfied. Generally, you shouldn't have any light peeking through there, so I'm gonna do a little light test here in a second. Clean up the valve seat. Okay, I'll stick your valve in there again. It's like a tourist uniform. Okay, now we're gonna check. I mean, with spring compressor, you can see any, but I can't see any right now actually. And generally, you would see the leak because it will show, but I don't see any, so that's good. Just gonna spin the valve around so I know. Yep. And then if we compress it, they're super tiny, but there's a little light leak, but it's super freaking tiny. But I think generally, I think it's good to go. So that has been the process for the past, valves, 6 valves so far. So go ahead and do the rest and see what's up. Jesus.
Windmills to keep you shining, blinding like Ray. Leaving Stevie wondering under a government. We illuminated. Diamonds last forever. Time to do this.
Almost perfect. The lap is perfect. Wow. Used, by the way. These are OEM valves going back, and I couldn't be more happier. Holy crap. And with that, and also a little bit mess of the workbench, we have successfully lapped and installed our valves back into the head. All of these valves now are married to the seats, and yeah, they look amazing. I had a before and after picture. If you guys saw the videos on this before and after, it looks incredible. Night and day difference. There's a little bit stuff on the cylinder head surface. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we got the top line revision lifters from STM Tune today, or Extreme PSI. And here's what they look like. We're going to be installing these today. The DSMs have 16 of these, so make sure you get, all of them. So I'm going to go over the bleeding process and any other procedures we need to install these guys. You don't really want to install these dry. I'm hearing mixed reviews. This is how I'm going to do it. If you guys are welcome to follow, go ahead. So let's get ahead and let me get you a closer look on what these look like. Worked on the cylinder head. I needed to get some more parts, so I had to just pause production right now, but we're back at it. So here is what the lifter looks like. So there you go. See, this is I think it's a revision 3, since it has the hole a little bit closer to that race there, or that little surface. This is where the lifter would go there, and here's the big P hole lifter area. So that's where where it supplies the oil. So this is pretty good quality. I don't see anything, major defects. I don't really know if there's any part numbers on it. Um, I have the old ones, but I just literally just bagged it and just used it for another day. But these things are clean, man. Holy cow. So these guys are gonna have to be pre-bled for installation. So yeah, let's get this off the bags. I kind of want to do on a tray. That's the part number for the hydraulic lifters. There you go. LF, yeah. High definition. So I found an Allen key that goes deep enough. I'm pretty sure I need to hit rock bottom here. It goes all the way down, like right there. So I'm not sure if it's supposed to go down that far. So. Then we're gonna submerge it. This is probably not the best way to do it, but I probably need a bigger fucking cup. When you insert the Allen key or anything smaller, you should just be able to squeeze it through, and as you can see, there's bubbles here. So you want to make sure you can get all that out, and if you can squeeze it like this, it's almost there. So you can see all the fluid come out. You want to do the same process when submerged in oil. So, and this is ready to go. See, now we can push it with our fingers now, opposed to the new ones. So these are ready to go, and we're just going to repeat that same process for the 15 other ones. So let me show you guys again. I'm just gonna grab the same Allen wrench, grab it there, and it should automatically go. It shouldn't be pretty forceful. So there's the old oil there squirting out. Okay. And I can already do it by hand, I'm bleeding out all that, but I'm gonna do it in oil again. Do it one-handed, I guess. One, two, three, four, five. Bleed it again out the box. One, two. You should feel like this piston part, it should go pretty smoothly when it's pretty much empty. Because it's less fluid in there. Yeah, this one's really good now. Let's see.
Please, darling, hold it together. Day when it's said and done, my son is my vendetta. So, mommy, keep your head up. You know there's always heaven with 40 virgins. Always resting my soul deserving. I tried to do you perfect, painted you in all these verses. Milking the game, kitty, kitty, I kept it purring. I know my word was slurring, and I was higher learning. Like Tyra Banks, my shot out, skin closed curtains or open doors. Pick locks to kiss scores. Like Stephen Curry, whipping, I did chores. All of my homework, I was a teacher's pet. Turn my test in first, had me like Keith Sweat. Sorry, I chased a check, died with a few regrets.
Alright, so now let's go ahead and, if you haven't already, clean up all your passageways and all that. I've already previously cleaned that, so just a matter of just sliding in the lifters. All of them. And you're just going to plop them in these holes here. That's where your lifters go, so plop them in there. Ooh, it just slides right in. That's so satisfying. The lifters, Um, these were so stuck on there. I ruined some of the outer race journals, stuff like that. Like they wouldn't come out, bro. I mean, so yeah, there you go. Now the lifters are installed. Sweet. So I didn't end up finding any seals. I do have a 7-bolt cylinder head gasket set with a 6-bolt bottom end. If there's a specific way of doing it, you want to make sure that there's a spring here. You want to make sure that's facing the inside of the engine. So I've seen it the other way for some reason, but always consult your manual if you can. Okay, got that on. Let's get the camshafts. I think you can actually take these off without even taking the... Wait, are these? Oh my god. Okay, let's get the other one on. It's looking real good though. It's looking like a complete engine again, believe it or not. Okay. Gonna lock it right there. And torque it. So here we go. Alright. It's one of them. Now the other one. Flip it around for final torque. But it feels like it's on there. Alright, we got it. Yeah, it was just difficult to turn. Cool. Alright, so we got it. This thing likes to snap on me, but as you can see, the dowel pins are all, as you can see, they're both, all of them are pointing straight up. They're kind of tweaked right now, but once we get all the other components in, it should be fine. But here's final looks of it. There's went in well. Nothing wrong about those. And the camshafts, I had to take these off like 6 times to verify, because this one says it was going that way, and these inside caps here, they actually point the outside. So I guess it's pointing towards the manifold area. And As you can see, here's the HLA. Again, nothing was really replaced besides the lifters. Everything's kind of been mildly cleaned up and ready to go for another round. So this is a kind of reconditioned 4G63 cylinder head going on our 6-bolt. And here's the other. So yeah, we got to get these. There's timing marks on here. You want to get those lined up. I think it's horizontal on one plane. So, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and slap this on the engine block for now. I'm probably gonna leave it still unbolted because we still need to do the balance shaft elimination and fitting all the pistons and stuff. So that will be another weekend. So, but everything went well, as you can see. No cracks, nothing broke. That bolt right there for the HLA is a little sus. But we'll see. Next would be the valve cover gasket and the cam angle sensor. But alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video, or hope you guys enjoyed this part of the engine build process. We finally got the cylinder head all bolted up, torqued to spec, and yeah, we got the new revised top line lifters in here, OEM style valves and retainers. We got the cam cast, all OEM. So just want to keep this one clean, simple, and it just works. So hopefully, yeah, we can get it done. So thank you guys. See you guys later. Peace.